I was in this random house that I didn't recognize, and it was like there was a party for people who were actually wolf associates, or I think people who could shapeshift into wolves specifically. And there was TV and wolf shows on the TV and stuff like that. Anyway, it was all good and fine, and I went out to go to the toilet, and then I came back. And when I came back, there was plastic all over the ground, and there was paper, plastic things like when you go into a butcher's that had been brought down, and all the guests of the party or whatever had been tied to chairs and gagged and blindfolded and all that, and I had just missed out because I was on the toilet when the hosts of the party had seized everyone. And I figured out, I just, must be the psychic thing, but I knew that this was actually a slaughter party for slaughtering wolves. And so while I was there, while I was free, I quickly grabbed a knife that I noticed in the corner off a bench and freaking let everyone free. And while everyone was running out, the hosts or these hunters came back and they're like, "Oh, what are you doing?" I'm like, run, everyone's running. And they turned their attention to me, and I just shift and burst through the wall. Like, I don't know how I did that, and start running on all fours, and they start chasing after me, and they get in their cars, but by then I've gone off into the woods somewhere and I woke up. But like, that's just it's just one of the things that I've done in my sleep, I think. And this is, now people see me all the time, and I can't, like, it shocks me when it happens, but the projection's so strong now that I think I can just travel and do things.
Well, and I think a lot of us here at this time, especially the warriors, that's when this physical body is asleep at night. That's when we go and do our work, our real work, because we're in another dimension. We're in that fourth. Don't you think we're in that fourth dimension where we can, do the work that is needed?
That's it. Yeah. It's very weird though, especially if you can get yourself conscious in the middle of it, and if you can remember it.
Yes.
That's the hard part. If you can do that, that's when everything starts to open up.
Yeah.
That's when I started finding all the positive entities and stuff again. But it was a battle. It was a battle at first because my life was plagued by all the negative entities for a long time, since birth, I believe. Dad said to me that before I was even like 2-3 years old, I said to him that when I die, I was going to go back up to heaven and be an angel again. No one had even told me what an angel was. So
yeah. But, well, and I think too,
was that weird child?
Yeah. And we know that when we come in, when we incarnate in this human body and we come in, they already know, oh, here's another one. They already know when we're coming in, and they do their best to dumb us down. I mean,
they make sure all the attachments around you are going to make sure that you're weighed down, that you have the worst off start that you can have as possible.
Yeah.
Because the house that I was born into was haunted. Oh.
Yeah. So you dealt with a lot of spirits? You dealt with a lot of spirits too? I
think because you're a warrior as well, and you have to shift. Sometimes shifting comes from the stress as well. So, my first shift came from stress, I think. Then I learnt the angel came through later, actually. The angel came through after the wolf. Wolf came through first. But other angels were always there to protect me before I had the wolf, and before I could really stand up for myself, I guess you could say. But my first experiences as a kid, I remember there was a specific demon. I call them soul suckers. They kind of look like the mentors almost off Harry Potter, or they look like the Nazgul from Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
And I had one of these in my house growing up. And my brother, he knew that I was scared of all this, and so he was propelled by them. He was easily manipulated by these entities because he's got pretty bad bipolar and stuff as well. And so he was constantly playing the movie and telling me that they're going to come after me and stuff. And my bedroom door would open by itself every night. It was like, the handle would turn, and it would slowly creak open, and there was no wind. The house is on a flat ground. There's no animals in the house. Everyone's asleep. All the electricity is off. And every night the door would open by itself, and I could feel myself being dragged out of my body, and I was floating above myself and like trying to fight to keep that cord connected, trying to cut the cord that I had to my physical body whilst I was young, I think. But I had called for Gabriel. Oh, Gabriel came anyway, and he stopped it. So, and that's how I got out of that several times. And then, you know, that's when I started learning how to astral project.
Yeah.
To get away, obviously.
Well, you know, you have to, I don't know if we're learning. I think it's more we're remembering, you know, because we come here and there's so much crap against us. We have to wade through all of that to remember who we are and the job that we came to do, you know, so.
Yeah, which means confronting the ugly things as well, because
yes,
one extreme, then we're dealing with the other extreme, and the other extreme is, you know, sometimes a bit too extreme for some people to deal with.
Yeah.
I guess you could say, but you or I have the mental capacity to deal with it, I guess, and the ability to fight back.
Yeah, and I think some of us, we just have that. We come hardwired to push through that darkness, no matter how scary it is. You know, where you would just push forward, most people would just cower, and they wouldn't do anything. You know?
I'll tell you. Oh my God! All right. See, I don't know. This is when I actually noticed things in the world started to go crazy. But I actually had a dream where one of the 7 deadly sins was released from hell. As far as I was concerned, this is what was happening. But I was in the astral with my mum in this realm and my brother in this realm, and they were in a place that I had created for them to go to in their sleep where they would be protected. And so we were in this sort of safe house in the astral plane, I guess you could say. And everything was fine, and then they noticed that they started to get irritated for no reason, and that they started bickering over dumb things for no reason. And I was like, why is this happening? It shouldn't be happening here. And so they were like, that's it, you know, we're going to bed. Like, we're tired of arguing, we're going to bed. So they go to bed, and I was like, all right, well, I might as well go to bed too. And go up to my bedroom, and there's this dense, dark energy in the room, and already I know something's wrong. And I'll go in there, and I'm like, all right, well, you know, I'll just open the blinds. This will be fine. Just open the blinds, and it'll be fine. And open the blinds. No, the blinds start stuffing up, and they don't want to open. My hands get tangled, and, you know, everything goes wrong. And I'm like, fuck it. You know, turn around, and then the thing just starts, like, to manifest and grabs my arm and starts twisting it and pulling it upwards, and I can feel it, physically feel it too. And I started speaking incarnation, and I don't know what I was saying, but I was speaking incarnation, and a light was coming out of this hand, and I started getting my arm back, and I grabbed it back out, put it back out, ran into the other room, and I was like, oh, Daniel, you know, we need to get out of here. You guys need to get out of here now. There's something in the house. By then, the thing's gone crazy, and, like, books and things in his room are flying off the shelves, and everything's gone crazy. And I'm like, look at these bruises. And he's like, all right, yeah, I believe you. Let's go. Goes into the other room. My brother and my mum run out the house, and I'm like, hold on a second. I remember what I am now. And a big light shone down on me, and I managed to push it back into the room temporarily to get everyone out and to get all the souls that were nearby out, because I knew that this thing was going to spread. And as it was going to spread, it was going to corrupt people's minds. And so we ran out the front of the house, and my ex's stepdad has got his car there, and he's bringing it around. And straight away, I know he's the most susceptible person to it. And so as soon as he gets close, instead of stopping to pick everyone up, he runs me over. And he runs me over, and then he gets back off me, and I just get up and self-heal, because at this point I'm in angel mode. So, and I call for my twin flame, who's Ash, and he comes and he's like, all right, we've got to get all these souls to this safe sort of place that's in between heaven and, well, it's like there's a portal Anyway, there's this portal we take people to. There's an escalator, and all the angels are like around it and flying people up into it. And we get everyone up there, and all the other angels come up to me and they're like, all right, Sarah, you know, you've said you got your family safe, everyone's safe. Now we have to go back and fight. And they hand me a hammer. I don't remember using a hammer. I recognize Michael, and I actually consciously make this connection like, oh, Michael's here. Michael. We give each other a hug. I see Raphael. He gives me a hug, and we all get armored up and go out into this launching platform where everyone jumps off to go back down to where this demon is. And this demon's made its way into a river, and it's using the river to take form of like a samurai and fight us and use the elements to fight us as well. And the memory goes in and out because it's really hard to fly and stay conscious and project all at once and use your abilities all at once. But Ash caught me out of the sky a couple of times because I fell a couple of times. But I figured out a way to get it back, and I electrocuted it because it was in the water. And electricity is the element that I'm the strongest with. So did that, but we realized that that demon was a distraction, and that the souls we had kept in that place, they were ambushed by other demons while we were dealing with this big demon. And so I went back while all the other angels stayed and dealt with this demon, and I repaired the land, but I can't remember what happened to everyone after that. And it was just mental. Like, one of the crazy dreams I had for you, but yeah.
You know, I used to deal from very, very young age. I used to deal with the spiders, the spiders at night.
Oh,
crawling on the wall, or they'd
really?
crawl across the bed, or
I had spiders too.
Yeah, spiders and shadow people.
Yes, yep.
And
I had those too.
Yeah, and and it was part of my training. I think I felt like I was going through a training with them because, like I said, what do? You either scream and run and cower, or you take them on. And my poor husband, I mean, they would come in the room at night and I would take them on, and he would never see them, and he'd just be like, Denise, you're dreaming again. I said, I'm not dreaming, I'm working. They don't come anymore. I don't see them anymore. I think I've worked through that stage, and they just know that they don't affect me anymore. So why even bother? No,
they don't come to me in my physical anymore either. Like, the only time I will see them is if I project to them now in my sleep, or if it's a really, really high up, like Lucifer. I've actually encountered him several times in my sleep, and it's not as scary again as people would have thought.
Yeah. But I think you feel like you're tested, but it's almost like, it's like the Harry Potter stuff. It's up to you how you deal with that test, and what happens on the other side of it. Does it make you grow stronger? And I think
it could either make you a better person or a worse person, and It's up to you to decide.
Yeah, you can go either way. And the thing is too, is I think being able to talk to somebody who understands what you're going through and what your dreams mean, and because we've been conditioned and programmed. Oh, that's just a dream. Oh, that's stupid. Stop that. You eat too much sugar before you go to bed at night. That doesn't
please. It's like, all right, well then I'm a very avid lucid dreamer, number one. And number two, scientists proved that nightmares specifically are stored in the part of your brain where your physical memories are stored. And also they proved that you subconsciously can't come up with anything that you haven't seen before. That includes monsters, right? So people just don't make that connection, or they refuse to make that connection, because that would mean they have to acknowledge that something's there that they don't like. So
yeah.
So we just pretend it's a dream.
Or they tell you have a very vivid imagination. And I need to find this quote, and somebody said that imagination precedes fact. And, me being a writer, I know that I'm patching into something, or, that's already there. I'm just patching into it and recreating it here in this world. And I lost my train of thought, and my kitty's eating a spider plant, which is going to cause him to have hallucinations.
Oh, yeah, maybe not.
Don't do that. No.
Naughty boy.
So, but I think that's interesting that you were saying that incantations, you use incantations.
Yeah, I've done that several times. Several times that I can remember. And
you don't even know. You don't even know what you're saying, do you? It just flies out of your mouth.
Yeah, it does. And it happens when I'm doing healings with my friends, and also when when the angels want messages that comes through their language, sometimes not ours. So that's not always the easiest to interpret, but they just want me to learn everything. So like you said, they test us.
Do you think it might be a form of a light language?
A lightning, sorry?
A light, people talk about the light languages.
Oh, yeah.
I don't get into light languages, but I don't know, maybe for you,
Well, automatic handwriting was something that I have experimented, and I can do if I want to, but I don't really like it. But I guess demons have a language. So if they have a language, then of course the other side is going to have a language too. It's just that they've taken it and twisted it and turned it inside out or whatever. But light language can change. It just comes, I guess it's more of a feeling, and the words can come out depending on the feeling, and they can change. It's not like human language that's set in stone, I guess. You could say it's like their language is always changing. It never stays the same. And that's, I think, a way to stop other species from hijacking that light as well and using that light for bad.
Yeah.
Because if other things start learning how to understand, it might be a problem. But
and and a lot of it is just a vibration. A form of vibration that's just you're expressing. It's I work a lot with energy too, which sounds like you do when you're doing your warrior work. It's like I used to sit, when I sit down to meditate, I could always
you can see all the colors and stuff as well then, can't you?
What?
So you see all the colors and stuff in the air and the atmosphere as well then, don't you? Yeah.
I can close my eyes and see it,
Yeah.
But yeah, I can always, it was when I would meditate, and it's not so much now, but in the past, when I would sit to meditate, you're kind of opening yourself up. I could always see when there was something around me. And it's really funny because in my meditation, as soon as I get quiet, and if there's something that wants to infiltrate, I see myself instantly just turning around and just shooting energy and just get out of it.
Like a wave of
yeah.
Like I
yeah.
So, I get you.
Yeah.
No,
So
I understand how that works. You do it. I know you do it.
Yeah. So it's and my dragons too.
How many do you have, huh?
I have two. I had one first, and actually he started out as a familiar. I actually invited him in, and then one day he brought a friend. And, yeah. So they protect the property. And, yeah. And then I see them around all the time, and every once in a while I connect with them. But there's just so many different aspects of the dragon. If you listen to, I think, did I mention John Lash to you? He's the one that
Might have.
he teaches about the Gnostic knowledge. And
Oh, right, yeah. I know a little bit about the Gnostic knowledge,
yeah.
actually. That's one thing I know a little bit about.
Yeah, I think that's pretty cool. You know, I didn't know a lot about it, and I ran across him one day, and it's interesting how when you're ready for information, it's put in front of you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you know, he was talking about, and I knew this before, you know, dragons are like from the 11th, 12th dimension. But they're actually, they have the same energy as what the Gnostics say, the gods and the goddesses that create, you know, all these billions of different galaxies and solar systems. And he says, if you want to picture them, if you want to give these gods and goddesses picture a form, they look like a serpent. They're just and they're in, you know, they're in the cosmos, and so I thought, oh, that must be where people get, because I hear it all the time, you know, about the dragons, and it's not the draconians or, you know, nothing associated with the dark.
No, it's definitely not. No, and like you said, they actually hijacked their DNA.
They did.
To achieve what they achieved, because they have some of the abilities that dragons have.
Yeah.
Because of it, and they're not happy about that, if I remember correctly. But
yeah,
I got my connection with dragons because I'd rescued and healed several dragons that had been hunted down by hunters. Because even in that realm, that in every plane they hunt, you know, people try to hunt them. It's kind of sad, but because of that, I had been awarded with dragon eggs to raise.
Yes.
And so I had raised Night Fury, I named him. He's my biggest one, and he's black, and he's massive. His head is the size of, it would just fit into this bedroom. It's probably the size of 3 cars or something next to each other. His head is that big. But he was my first one that I got, and he comes and goes as he pleases or whatever. A lot of them I don't try to, they just do what they want anyway, you know, and they come whenever, they just know when the time is right to come anyway.
Yeah.
But I have him, and I have the one that I have my real special connection with. He's a little gold, well, he was gold, pure gold dragon with black in between the scales and stuff, and I named him Valentine, just because I thought, you know, with the gold and love and healing and love and all that, and he became one of my guides as he grew up. And he often, if I have a friend or something in trouble, he will go check on my friends and stuff for me as well. You know, he's a loving dragon.
Yeah.
I'm really, you know, really privileged to have him. And then I have Envy, who's a little forest dragon, and she's probably about this big, fully grown, and she just looks like the end of a broom almost, because she's got more like fur than scales.
Yeah.
Almost, but she's
one
of the other ones. I love the dragons, and I'm really privileged to have raised a couple from birth.
Yeah.
And they come in and they fight as well when we go out and fight. If I call them out in the battlefield, they come. So, but I try not to do that. I can shift into a dragon too, but that takes a lot of concentration.
Yeah.
A lot of concentration.
Yeah. Well, and here's a thought, you know, because people who know about dragons, and I think I mentioned Franz Ertl, I think he's a German, and Franz Ertl, he did a lot of stuff with regression work with people and got a lot of dragon information. But you know, everybody comes to the same conclusion that these dragons are of the highest dimension. And I think here's a thought: if these gods and goddesses that create some of these worlds, if they wanted to incarnate, or if they wanted to create something that they would say, hey, if I wanted to take a physical form, how would I look? Because really, when you think about it, if I could change my physical form, what would I change it into? I'd like to be a dragon, to be able to fly.
You die,
you know. I mean,
Yeah.
we do it when we shift anyways, you know. So
Yeah.
when you were talking, I was just like, that thought just came to mind. It's like,
Yeah, well, that is always the trippiest part too, was once you've shifted is then when you start to fly and you're like, well, yep, I'm flying. It's happening, flying. So, and then try and get past that distraction of the fact that you're actually doing it, and then keep going through with what you're actually tasked to do.
yeah,
To
yeah,
begin with, yeah, it sounds like the Fey realm is really close to the dragon realm too. So it makes sense that you have your connection to it as well. I mean,
and you know,
they look like the dragons.
yeah. And why do you think they have such a bad rap? And why do we think that they made it to where they have such a bad rap? Because they're afraid of them. And you know, yeah, I think there was a period where they were overthrown by the Dark Khans and the Reptilians, because they are such a pure energy. They're, for them to do battle like at that point in time, I think was very hard. I think it was very foreign to them. You know, I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I'm exploring it in my books. So
Well, if I provide my insight with my memory anyway, my memory from past lives serves me correct, is that there was a time where a lot of the dragons reclused and hid from most species, if not all, and only said few with exact privileges were allowed to be near dragons for a long time. And I think you were probably one of those people during that time.
right. Yeah.
Because, yeah, like I said, the reptilians invaded and still do. There's still a lot of reptilians I can't stand to be around. I had my ex is like, yeah, my ex was a hybrid reptilian. He knew he was a hybrid reptilian too. He admitted it, and he joined the army, and the army specifically wanted to use him for his abilities.
Yeah.
That he had as well, but he also had an Atlantean connection, serpent Atlantean connection, and he knew that the reptilians had hijacked dragon energy too, because when I spoke to him about it, he said that they cower at the sight of a dragon, and they do. If there's a dragon in front of them, they run and hide, because they know, I mean, if they were friends or if they were even the same thing, really, why would that be happening anyway? People don't realize that. And the closest thing to a dragon that's really actually, I guess, draconian is some Chinese images, maybe, you know, are close to it, just because it was the symbol of power, you know, because they're obsessed with power as well. But it's not the same as all the images you get from everywhere else around the world of dragons, like.
Yeah.
And everywhere else does have folklore of dragons, like everywhere. So people are ignorant.
You know what else the reptilians are afraid of?
Yeah.
Is the lion people. Yeah.
I've only ever met maybe 2 lion people.
Yeah. Because the lion people are so much stronger, you know. They can pretty much take the reptilian out, just rip his arm off, you know.
No. That's so funny.
Give them a taste of their own medicine, I guess.
Yeah. Well, that's what I do to them in wolf form, though.
Rip their arm off. Yeah.
But my wolf form is like the size of a car, so
yeah,
it's fine. I'm usually in my wolf form. I'm actually usually a lot bigger than them too, and they hate it. They hate my wolf form. They freaking run for it too. And so I usually chase them down and rip them to shreds.
Yeah.
And if I'm not ripping them to shreds in wolf form, then I'm ripping them apart energetically in angelic form. So they're not a fan of me. They're not a fan of me, but it's all right.
So how do you think that's working for the event? Are you going out and actually in your wolf form helping helping this event?
Well,
Even
you know, on a day-to-day basis, actually, you know, I get messages and they tell me what they want me to do, and I'll sit there and meditate and put my headphones in, and I'll project. And lately what I've been doing is ripping apart the actual the spell work and the grid work that they've been using to matrix people into programming people to see things exactly the way they want to see it. So I've been trying to take down the disillusion codes, basically. And, well, but it's been very difficult. They come in and they attack and try to stop. So half of it's me taking down the codes, and the other half of it is me destroying. And every time I go out into public, they make it hard for me. Like, I almost get into car accidents every day. Freaking creepy people at work, they just send them all my way. They send all the minions, you know.
Yep.
But that's how I know it's working, though. So
Yep.
I'm getting under their skin, because I had a dream that Lucifer was bashing the shit out of me, and I was just laughing and calling him a drama queen. So, because it didn't hurt. It's gotten to that point where they're just scared now, and I think we're winning. So that's why they're going to the extremes, and that's why Trump is going to the extreme with his tweets and all that. It's because they know they're losing the game, so they're doing what they can. And I'm getting ready. I guess we're going to have 1 or 2 last big assaults coming up, so I think you should be prepared for that too, because they'll definitely come for you.
Oh yeah, roadblocks everywhere. I mean, okay. Here's the thing. Do you think, a lot of people talk about the organic portals, soulless humans that are here? I think they're just here for distraction. Do you get that? Or
people think they're just here for distraction?
Yeah, they're in human form, and they're totally in the matrix. They're totally controlled by the matrix because they have no soul. So they're just here to cause issues for us.
These walk-ins. Yeah. These soulless and the clones that they're sending in, clones as well as people that they've just created so that demons can inhabit them and walk around, because that's the other thing that they've been doing, was ripping open portals and letting other things, dark things, come through those portals. And people have been, a couple of young people around me lately, a girl I knew, or no, I didn't know her actually, but Matt and Ruby, the 2 that are my healers, said to me that the girl they know had decided, she wanted to be a witch, but she dabbled in the darker side of it and went out into the forest and opened up a circle and didn't open the circle properly or close the circle properly. Yeah. So
chaos.
There's not many people in the area who do our kind of work, so of course he's going out there to fix that issue. It's going to be us 3. And people
that happens so much.
Doing that lately. I don't know if they've been doing that over there, but just messing around with the occult and messing around with witchcraft and not knowing what they're doing, and just being stupid with it.
We have a really large pagan movement here, and it's growing, and I think a lot of it is there are a lot of wannabes, and they all come for the wrong reasons, for the shock effect, the wow factor. Oh, look, but none of them want to learn the correct way. And a lot of them, what do they say?
No one knows the history of it either.
Right. And and only 1 out of every 25 people is a natural witch, or I hate that word because they gave it such a negative connotation,
Yeah.
And it just means wise woman is all it means, But we have issues with people in it for all the wrong reasons, and they're just helping the dark side is all they're doing, unknowingly.
Of course, people happily believe in the dark side, though, won't they? This won't believe, but nothing positive could ever happen.
Right.
But I tell you though, that was true. I've had dreams and visions. 2 where I've been asleep but conscious, and I was at the front of a battle. There was a battle between, I guess it was I don't know if it was a flashback or if it was happening at that point in time, but I was on the edge of a cliff, and down the bottom of the valley was a giant army of their dark, I guess, and the demons, and one of the horsemen was there, Pestilence was there, and he was just there to keep the balance, but he was on our side at this point because the dark was overpowering this realm and overpowering third dimension. So the Pestilence had covered all of the demonic army in wasps and in flies, and all the flying insects were covered. This demonic army was covered, and I was at the front, and Jesus was there, and I was holding Envy actually, and I handed Envy to him, and I was like, hold this, and called for Wolf. All of my wolf pack came and called for Night Fury. Night Fury came, and another dragon named Zero, he's an ice dragon, and he came. And then they had a dragon too, but a dragon they had corrupted, or a dragon egg that they had stolen and raised and turned evil. And I had to fight this dragon in the sky as a dragon myself, because there was nothing else that could have defeated it. Even the angelic form couldn't. I wasn't strong enough at the time in that form to defeat it in that form, so I had to turn dragon, and sometimes I black out when that happens because it's just so much mentally. But I do remember circling in the sky and, fire everywhere and stuff like that. And then I remember at the end, Jesus gave me he said, these are a list of angels' names that people don't know, and you need to remember these names. And I only remember one name on it, and that was Allywood. And that happened to be my twin flame. So,
oh, wow. Yeah.
The battles.
And I bring up imagination again, or dreams, when I would do journeying, I used to do a lot of journeying with other Reiki people and a lot of Native Americans, and I really come up with these, I've seen the New Earth a few times.
That would have been really freaking cool to do.
Yeah. But there are some people that were in those groups, and they would say, oh, you just got a vivid imagination. And I tell you, we don't even get the half of what's out there. What we're getting, what we're pulling in is only part of what's really out there.
Yeah.
And people just, they need to realize this, and they need to understand this, that
what they need to understand too is that everything they see in the media and even in Hollywood and stuff like that comes from something. They've got their inspiration from something, right. But they're also desensitizing people because they know that this shit's going to hit the fan soon. And so they've been desensitizing people for ages, but people think it's just imagination and creativity and art, like you said. But that comes from somewhere. There's inspiration from somewhere. It didn't come out from thin air. The idea didn't come from thin air. Like the whole alien idea didn't come from thin air. Like one of the most accurate movies I think I watched of the dark side of the astral plane, I think, was Insidious. If you've seen that movie, but to some degrees, it was quite accurate. With the way that astral projection can work sometimes. If you project into a dark place. It's pretty accurate, People don't understand. People, just wait until the wave hits,
Well, don't you think, though, that there's so many different levels of this event? There's so many different levels and timelines, and we have the choice of experiencing what we want to experience. And if we want to go to the lower and darker side and do battle, that's what we choose to experience. And I think a lot of us are already, we know this, a lot of us are able to go in and come out, to go back in and then come back out and go up. So
and not be stuck.
right. Yeah. That's
the hard part. Sorry?
That's the trick, not to get stuck there.
The trick to not getting stuck is you have to go through the void first, and not everyone can do that. So that's how if you're strong enough mentally to get through the void, that's when you can come to and fro.
Yeah.
So imagine you've been through that, you know,
Yes.
all about that.
Yes, I've done my, you know, it's like shamanic training. You have to experience the little deaths first, because every time you experience a little death, of course you grow and you get stronger. So it's easier to go in the next time, because next time you have more armor. You know what to bring next time.
Exactly.
You
But
know?
yeah, and also you just let go of the fear, and fear is what they use anyway. So as soon as you take away their energy source, they're kind of helpless.
Yeah.
And they're really not as scary as they look anyway, because some of those things are ugly, because I don't just see shadow people anymore. I can see them for what they look like, you know.
Yeah.
And I draw pictures, but that's not pictures that I've posted up or anything, or pictures that I show a lot of people, because I show some people my demon pictures and they're just like, man, that's creepy. You know, I'm like, well, of course it's creepy.
Yeah. You know, as I tell everybody, it's, you know, so many of these people that are caught into the new age, the false light new age, you know, they think everything is unicorns farting rainbows. You know, and really that's not what it totally is. I mean,
no, not yet.
No, I mean, we chose to do this battle, and you know. So, what do you consider yourself an indigo? You know, there's so many names for all these.
I'll tell you something funny. I've never actually done any formal spiritual training, any courses, or any Reiki and things like that. I can heal people to a degree, and I just do it in my own way, I guess. But I'm not formally trained. I just go by my intuition, but also and find the answers within. And I seem to find that since I've been doing that, I'm almost always correct about everything that comes forth, and I've managed to evolve. I actually remember a time I was about 13 or 14, and because I could always sort of see these things as well, like I couldn't shut my third eye even when I tried. This demon, I lived in a house where this man, he was once a human, he turned into something that wasn't human after a time, because the atrocious acts that he performed when he had a human vessel tied him to that land as a punishment for his actions. But because of that, he would just torment the souls that would come in and live in that house. And of course, they always have a plan for me. So of course, my parents bought this freaking house together, didn't they? And the couple before them got a divorce in that house, and my parents got a divorce in that house, and the couple after them got a divorce in that house. But this demon, he tried to create the Antichrist through his daughter when he was alive and stuff like that. I'd gone into his and read his mind, but he alerted some higher up demons to my location. And, you know, this demon, well, the way that we did this is actually really funny. I'll tell you how we found this out. This memory was blocked from me, but I needed to get this memory back to understand why I went down a dark path for a little bit in my teen years. But my ex, being the part reptilian, the Atlantean in him, he had the ability to travel back and actually be there almost in whole, like he would leave his body almost in whole and be in that memory. And so he traveled back into the memory, and as he was seeing things, I was seeing it too. But he traveled back into my parents' bedroom, and while it was late at night and they were asleep, and he said he could hear the two demons, one demon, the demon that was the one that lived on the property, and the demon that he called, which was like a hell knight or something, not necessarily a fallen angel, but like a soldier or a commander of some sorts, you know. He had big wings and he had big goat legs and carved symbol, and he was a hell knight. Anyway, he came in to my parents' room, and he put a symbol on my dad's head, and he put a symbol on my mum's head, and then it sort of soaked into the skin. And he turned around and noticed my ex standing there, and he said, "What are you doing here? You're a little bit far away from the ocean, aren't you?" The demon just straight away directed a question at him, like, "I see you," straight away. And he was like, "I'm just here to observe. I'm not here to do or change anything, you know?" And he's like, "Well, good, because you can't interfere, because what I'm about to do, you can't stop, all right? So don't try to stop it." He's like, "All right, I'm not going to try and stop you from doing whatever it is you're doing here." So the demon walked out into the hallway, and he followed it, and he walked down the hallway into my bedroom, and I was tossing and turning in my sleep already, and disturbed because I'd already felt the presence of the thing, and sweating and blah, 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 and crying in my sleep. And he said the demon came, stood with one leg on either side of me, and stood above me and started chanting. And as he chanted, my wings came out and became visible. And he grabbed them and he put his hoofs on my chest, and he just started ripping. He ripped them out. And I woke up screaming and crying in pain. Now, I remember the night that I actually woke up screaming and crying in pain, because my neck muscles had magically pulled themselves in my sleep, and I couldn't move my neck to one side. So I woke up screaming. I remember waking up screaming in pain. And then what my ex said he saw after that was the demon ran for it, and all the angels came in, and one of them, which I realize now was my twin flame, was crying, screaming, "Why did this have to happen? You know, like we should have came in and stopped this before it happened." Michael said something like, "You know, we can't change." It's difficult, because if the angels constantly interfere with things in the human world, then it's like stopping free will. So it's complicated, and they're like, she has to learn how to regrow her wings now, and blah, blah, blah. We'll be here to help her and guide her and such. And then Uriel shows up, and Uriel turns around and notices my ex, and he's like, "Hey, you, I know you," and grabs him by the collar, but he wakes up because the light's so bright that his eyes are on fire, and then he thinks he's a fish, and I have to put him in the bathtub and play meditative, sounds of whales and things like that, so that he can go back to his Atlantean roots and relax, because seeing the angel hurt his eyes so bad and made him flip out when he came back there. It took a while to calm him down, but that was one of the things that happened to me in my youth. It was just freaking mental. Now I've got 3 sets of wings, so there's nothing they can do to stop me now, but
yeah,
they test us,
But see, their point exactly. We go through this dark night of the soul stuff where we go into battle and something happens to us, but we learn, we grow something new. We know how we bring something else into the next battle.
Come back stronger.
Yes.
Killing makes you stronger.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So I guess for me, I think I would be the firebender.
Yeah.
Because because my wings are flaming.
Actually, I have progressed a little bit more in the picture if you want to see it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so I drew a little bit more after I sent you that picture. I'll go get it if you want to have a look.
Sure.
I'll be a sec. I need to go to the toilet real quick as well.
Oh, okay.
But it won't be long. It'll be 2 secs.
Okay. All right.
And in the meantime, you can look at this salt lamp in the corner.
Oh.
There you go. I'll be right back.
Okay. What? Let me get my kitty first. Come here. Come here. What? This is Elijah. Yes, little Elijah. He's gonna be, yes. Where are you gonna go? Don't go too far. You playing with a knife? He's playing with a knife. Come on. Don't fall off.
Alrighty. He's so cute.
He's like, Mom, what are you
A
doing?
new little familiar.
Yes. You know, it's really interesting because I always check colors of cats. And he's gray. So
He's super.
he came in with lots. It's interesting because he came in with lots of wisdom, like Gandalf the Grey.
Yeah.
Because of his color. So he's got a lot. And it's funny because he was the first one born.
Mm.
He was the first one to crawl out of the box.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So it's like, yeah. And
He's a go-getter in life.
yeah, he's going to do real well. And it's funny because when I went to pick him out, he was the first one that came up to me. So it's like, well, he picked me.
Yeah. No, that's it. You got to go with the one that picks you. You
That's
can't.
right. Yeah. Yeah.
You
So.
can't go with another option. So that's how we picked. Oh, I moved out of home now, but we picked our cat because he wanted us when we went to the rescue centre. We went to a rescue centre and picked out a cat. But he wanted to keep playing with us even when we put him down to have a look at other cats. He was still trying to get us through the cage and stuff. And I was like, we can't not pick him. But Mum, she said she didn't want a ginger cat and she didn't want a long-furred cat. And then we ended up, with a long-furred ginger cat.
Oh, wow. Wow.
But now he's her baby. So
Oh.
he's massive. He's part Mancoon, we realise.
Is he? Oh,
yeah.
Wow. That's what
He's
I was trying. Yeah, I was trying to find a Maine Coon, but where I am, you just get the barn cats. I'm just too far up in the mountains. But the mom was beautiful. Looked like your kitty there. Same kind of coat. Beautiful. Yeah, and she was gray like this little guy. So I'm hoping.
Oh, I tell you, you'll love this then, because my brother, not too long after that, he works at a drive-through bottler, and we found a kitty someone had abandoned a kitty at his bottler, and we picked him up and we named him after my alcoholic Uncle Brian. And he's a big fluffy grey cat. Hold on, and he's really, really gorgeous. If I can get a photo of him.
Oh, yes. Beautiful. Beautiful. Look at those eyes. And look at the points.
Yeah, no, he's very cute. And he's a little bit, shy and scared of people.
Uh-huh.
Because of his hard start in life, I guess, but I'm pretty sure I have it. I'm sure I have a later photo of him somewhere, but he's almost the size of Finn now, and Finn's pretty big, so he's like a fluffy Norwegian cat-looking cat. He's cute. He has this connection to my brother, so we couldn't separate them, so those two.
Well, cats are healers. Cats give us the energy. Dogs pull the bad stuff out of us. That's why we see so many dogs, with big tumors or cancer, or they're pulling all the crap out of their human.
Yeah, I know. It's sad too when the human doesn't give anything back.
That's right.
Here's the drawing stuff.
Oh, wow. Wow. That's really coming along.
But I feel like it's kind of what you look like in the Astral.
Yeah. Yeah. What is that on her head?
Well, that's actually the dragon's claw. Sorry.
Oh, okay. Okay. All right. Oh, I can see it now. Yeah, I can see it now. Okay. Yeah, just like mine around me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, but when I looked, I saw you holding a baby dragon. That's what I saw in here anyway. So, but yeah, when it's done, though, I'll send you a proper picture of it and all,
Cool. That's cool. Yeah. Well, if you read Dragon Horse, if you read the first one that I sent you, it doesn't get into the dragons till the middle to the end of the book. But Samaya, the second one, we go back in the heroine's life back to the time of Lemuria and Agartha. And big time dragons. It's pretty cool. And book 3, book 3 is like after the shift. It would be like after the event.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like, okay, everybody thinks when the event happens, it's just we're all going to sit around and play harps all day or whatever, and so for them, my characters are like, okay, we're kind of bored. What are we going to do? So they go back down to the 3D Earth and try to get more people out of there. And this is I think this is the last one. But it's really interesting what my dragons do, because there's a lot of shifting going on. And it's kind of like what you and I talk about. There's a lot of different shifting going on from one form to the next. So you kind of inspired me to finish it now. I'm at the end, but I'm just so afraid to finish it that I won't finish it. So I'm still waiting for the download to say, okay, this is it. I know how it's going to end, but this is how you need to get there. So.
Oh, the ending is always the hardest, isn't it?
Yeah.
Anyway, I mean, I can go back and dwell back into past life memories and kind of maybe see if there are memories that you and I share together, back when, say, you were full fae and I was, more angel. Oh, but there was a thing that happened to me. The wolf thing was actually meant to be a curse to begin with, and it was given to me by someone who had, ill intention. It was a warlock and a witch and a demon together put this on me while I was in that dimension in my angel form, but it made it so that I couldn't go back up to the higher realms again because it brought my vibration right down. And I couldn't control it and had to learn how to control it. So I spent almost a lifetime amongst wolf and nymphs and elves and fae people, because they were the ones to teach me how to use it and control it and use it for good. And then, now I can actually think consciously and it's not a curse anymore. But it was to begin with, because I would just burst into wolf form and run off and bloody eat things and do things and wake up and naked somewhere.
Well, and I think too, like we had talked before, I think ow, you're butting my foot. They were your connection to this planet. We talked about grounding and being grounded in this planet. And I think that's my job here for humanity, is to remind them of their connection with this planet. And because this planet, Sophia Gaia, has a lot to do with what's going on here right now. And so I think it's just,
I feel like I see her really strongly connected to you as well.
Yeah.
Like, almost like, I can see her energy. Her energy's on you. Or you're definitely I could see that you're emanating her energy just from the camera,
Yeah.
So you definitely got a close connection there.
Yeah, we do. And this, this whole lifetime that, she is, pardon the pun, she is my rock. When I get confused or when I get outside information from somebody else or something, and it's different than what I think, I always go back to her. And I always get signs from her, always. I mean, she talks to me more than just, clairsentience or clairvoyance, or it's, the animals that come to me, it's the clouds in the sky, it's just so much. So I can't help it. Every time I go away from it, it always brings me back. So, she's my rock. Okay. Bite my foot.
He must eat.
Yes.
And you put his names.
But yeah, that is so cool that you can do those drawings like that. I mean,
Well,
I paint, but I think you can see the horse painting in the background there.
oh yeah, no, I could see that.
Yeah,
That's awesome though. Horses aren't the easiest thing to draw either. So
it's really hard. Yeah, it's
there's a lot of dimensions and proportions people don't get, but horses have got a lot. So, you know, anyone who has the patience to draw them with that much reality is a good artist in my eyes. So
yeah. Well, and you'll find out the connection between the horse and the dragon when you read.
Yeah, definitely interested to see that, because I haven't met many people with a horse connection apart from my cousin, who's also, funnily enough, nymph.
Oh, really? Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She kind of knows it too, but she's got a pet horse. He's an ex race horse that she looks after now, and just goes out and has its casual rides, and she just looks after it. It's just pet. No, she used to run races